Now, I'd like to think of myself no stranger to horror games, however, considering that Five Nights at Freddies is now one of the biggest horror icons in gaming of recent years, I'm quite surprised at myself that I've only played the first game once many years ago. This series has just completely passed me by, but today, that changes. With it just being the very start of horror month and the Five Nights at Freddy's movie just around the corner, I thought it was the perfect time to give this series another go and grind for all of the achievements in Security Breach. So considering I have absolutely zero knowledge around the characters and the lore of this series, how will I find the grind? Well, let's waste no time. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and let's get straight into it to find out. Welcome to the Achievement Grind. Now, as a little warning just before we start, one of the hardest looking achievements in this game has us complete the entire thing without ever using a hiding space. So I thought it worth mentioning now that throughout the entire playthrough I cannot hide a single time, which no doubt will make this more hilariously fun and agonising to play. Anyway, with that said, let's begin. The game starts with a hilariously amazing cutscene showing all of the dodgy animatronics that we're going to have to be dealing with whilst playing this. There's Chica, Roxy, Monty and Freddy of course. But something's not quite right with Freddy. He has a bit of a moment and collapses on the stage. After being rebooted, we then take control of Freddy inside his room within the Pizzaplex. And the Mega Pizzaplex is where the game takes place, and is a haven for every young child looking to have a great birthday or whatnot, something like that. However, we're not actually playing as Freddy, we are playing as Gregory, a small child that has managed to climb his way into Freddy during a shutdown. By now though, unfortunately, the Pizzaplex is closed, and we are warned that it is not a safe place. However, we kindly hop outside of Freddy and continue the start of a great friendship. That friendship is then immediately tested as Vanessa, the local security guard, comes close. We don't trust her for some reason and want to avoid her at all costs. So considering we're against the system, Freddy gives us a watch that shows us the map, the missions and so on and so forth. Anyway, enough chatting, it's time to leave this place. We hop into a vent system and have a closer look at all of the animatronics just vibing in their rooms. And honestly, they are all already insane. So again, we need to avoid them at all costs. We go to let Freddy out to help us, however we need to acquire a party pass first so that we can open the door, so we need to go and look for that. Now the first thing we come across is a duffel bag, and inside are collectible notes, and for another achievement later on we will need to find all of the collectibles in the game, and this is the first one, so more on that later. Now it took a lot longer than I'd care to admit to find it, however we soon managed to find said party pass in a different room. With it we are now able to break Freddy out of his irksome confinement, and we're both on the move. No idea where to really, but we're out, so that's what matters. This is where we get to use Freddy for the first time. If we think the path ahead is too dangerous, we can hop inside Freddy and use him as like a bodyguard to walk past. However, if his battery dies whilst we're inside him, let's just say that it won't end super well for us either. So we hop inside and go to explore more of the complex. Now the first place we explore are the tunnels in the basement underneath the complex, and when Freddy senses that we've been injured, he takes us straight away to a first aid station, where we can just sit for a bit and witness the meme that everybody knows.
Freddy, you're supposed to be on lockdown.
It looks like someone's mad. Go cry about it, bitch.
Nah, he doesn't actually say that, as I'm sure you're all aware. Anyway, Vanessa scolds Freddy for being out of bed so late in the night, however Vanessa leaves to go and look for us some more. Freddy's a bro and just doesn't snitch us up thankfully, so we hop back into his chest cavity and get back to work. Unfortunately, all of this labour is taken out of Freddy, who must now recharge for a little bit, so we continue alone. And immediately bump into Chica just rummaging around through some rubbish, for some reason, no idea why. But here is where we are introduced into creating noise distractions and our first achievement, as I don't really use said noise distraction at all, and Chica just grabs me out of nowhere. And for having our first official jump scare in the game, we unlock Surprise. Totally planned, totally planned. I wanted that achievement out of the way. And speaking out of the way, by ruining some paint cans, we then push Chica out of the way and carry on. As we move throughout the system, the animatronics learn of our presence, and begin a high-speed chase after our bones. We sprint away as fast as our little legs can carry us and eventually make it into the safety of a security office. Inside, we also get access to all of the cameras around the complex. However, I don't think we even really use them at all. The only time we used them was a little bit right now to escape Monty and Chica, who are lurking closely. When we leave though, we are greeted with the bad news. All of the doors have been locked and there is absolutely no way to open them except to survive to 6 AM, of course, where they will naturally open again. So we've got some time to kill, and we're officially now in the main game ready to crack on. We explore the area, gain collectible items, and avoid security bots who can summon the animatronics if they catch us. Oh, and speaking of animatronics, we have our next achievement, as Chica is once again roaming the area.
Our friendly security staff can...
Oh, was she there?
Staff only.
She hadn't walked out. Why the hell? Teleporting. She teleported. She can slightly teleport. Oh, good. Yep, that was my first taste into the fact that animatronics could just unapologetically teleport anywhere, which is great. But for being able to successfully evade Chica, we also unlocked the achievement Dodge and Weave. Now, throughout this, we had managed to find a pass to the daycare section of the complex. So with no other options, we headed on inside to look for a security badge that we can use to explore more areas. Now, to get there, we just have to go down this rather fun and inviting slide. When we drop, we meet Sun. This rather intensely friendly animatronic just wants to play for a little bit. However, we are a child with a job to do, so we distract the OCD bot with some mess and sneak away to find the security badge. We find it rather quickly and, well, this happens.
No! Why would you do that? Lights on! Lights on! I warned you! I warned you! Naughty boy. Naughty boy. It's past your bedtime. You must be punished. 99.
Yep, sod that. Absolutely bugger off with all of that nonsense. However, with a fight on our hands, we pick up a flashlight and get ready for our first proper boss battle of the game. For this, we just have to work our way through the mazes around and find 5 generators to turn back on, all whilst this moon prick is coming after our bones. On our first attempt, we managed to get the 4 out of the 5 done, and we started to claw our way to that 5th. Yeah, that didn't work. However, with the lights back on, we now realise that we could scout the path ahead of time, and then when Mr. Moon comes back, we can just crack on and get the lights back on. And the plan worked an absolute treat. When the lights went out this time, we got to work, and within a couple of minutes, we got all 5 generators done. With the room once again illuminated, the Sun is back, and he is not happy with us, and just straight up chucks us out for being an ill-behaved piece of smeg. So when we're thrown out, we hop right back inside of Freddy to avoid the rest of the animatronics that swarm the security, and we go to leave the daycare. However, when we do, Freddy rushes us to a recharge station, as apparently on the hour every hour we need to hide from something that appears to be a bunny, but a bunny that only Gregory can see. Interesting. I'm sure we won't see much more of them anyway. However, what we see after that is our next achievement. For beating Sun Moon and escaping the daycare, we unlock the next achievement, Sleepover, and with that we've already made it to 1 AM, only 5 hours left. However, with the security badge we can now head to the main part of the Mega Pizzaplex, and by getting the absolute smeg scared out of us by the infamous map bot, we get our first look into the scale of the building that we're in, and yeah, it's pretty big. However, we have some time to kill and we have some stuff to do. After a brief look around, we crack back on with the task at hand, upgrading our security badge and getting our hands on as many passes as we can. We first explore the arcade, and when a door is closed, we once again have to take the vent system, only this time we meet an adorable little music playing friend. This is Lil Music Man, and his domain is the vent, so when we see him, we have to run. When we exit, we find another security booth and upgrade our pass to level 2. When that happens though, the office goes into lockdown and we need to stall whilst Freddy shuts it back down. We have a much more classic Five Nights section here where we have to save power and lock the doors to protect ourselves. It's not too difficult. However, when the lockdown ends, the doors open and we get chased. As we're running for our lives, we unlock the next achievement for escaping the prize counter office, unlocking false alarm. As we go to leave, however, a map bot ruins the vibe, as when he offers us the latest in map news, Vanessa catches us. We get taken to a security office and Vanessa leaves us here to get the police or our parents, whichever arrive first. But she also forgot to take Vanny into the equation as well, as Vanny immediately starts hunting us. However, what Vanessa doesn't know is that I'm a little rascal, so we break out of there and get back to being a general nuisance. In that time though, something happened, as when we find Freddy, he is on his fucking uppers. Since he missed his hourly recharge looking for us, he is now in a minutely struggle, so we need to get him to help and services so that we can get him back on his feet. However, we don't go to help and services. Instead, we find another security booth, and here we click a button that somehow brings Freddy back online. Something about restoring a connection, I think. However, things go wrong once again as Monty and Roxy come to cut this game short, so we once again must hold them off with taser doors as we open a path for Freddy to come and save us. But with Vanny making another appearance here as well, we decide that we need to move quick, and honestly, this section isn't isn't anywhere near as long as I imagined. After a couple of tasers and open doors later, Freddy is here and we jump into his arms safe once again. However, Freddy is still a little bit injured, so we need to escort him to the repair station. However, on the way to the lift, the clock nearly turns 3, so we need to get to a recharge station fast, as if we don't, we will get killed by Moon. We make it, however, Freddy unfortunately doesn't, as Moon knocks him out and wheels him away. With that, it's 3 AM and we're halfway through this hellish night. Freddy, thankfully though, isn't too far away, and after another meeting with a map bot, we go to find and repair him. To get to him, we have to go through one of the worst parts of the game. In the next room, we find a bunch of animatronics without their fun exterior. Now, these pricks are the worst because they are unbelievably quick, but only when you are not looking at them. They're goddamn robotic weeping angels, and I cannot stress how much I hate that. But with Freddy's life on the line, we have to fight through this maze to get to him. I wonder how that goes for me. Just... fuck. Fuck me! Oh, we're going on a break. We're going on a break. I can't do that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, not well. I was not alright. However, time to try again. Thankfully, this attempt was much more successful somehow, and we managed to get to the next security upgrade that we so desperately needed and sprint back to parts and services. Once there, we once again see Vanessa giving Freddy a bollocking for letting us get away, and she also suspects him of helping us thanks to the Fazbear watch that he gave us. But with Freddy's head not attached to his body, we need to put the Humpty Numpty back together again. And even as a small child, we managed to expertly engineer this bastard's head back onto his body. Once he is repaired, we then realise that we could do with getting some stuff to defend ourselves. The bots hate bright lights as it can cause them to break, so we need to get either a phaser blaster to shoot them when they spot us or a phaz cam. So we decide to go for the phaser blaster. I mean, it sounds cooler. However, to get it, we need to get something called the party pass, so getting that is our next call. Gregory also realises that this station can be used to upgrade Freddy with parts of other animatronics, so crushing them and stealing their limbs is also something that we'll need to do for the future for greater defense. We quickly work our way through the security bots, Roxy and Vanessa again in our search, and it pays off and we get our hands on that party pass in Roxy's backstage room. Not the only things we get our hands on as well, as for getting the party pass we also unlock the achievement Party Time. And just like that folks, another hour is gone already as it hits 4 AM, and we're getting closer and closer to blessed freedom. But until then, I decided that getting the blaster still sounds like the way to go. To unlock this, we need to win a game of Freddy's Phaser Blast, and it essentially works like laser tag. You find some control spots on the map and capture them whilst also getting rid of any enemies that come your way. Now honestly, this was quite a bit of fun and was a decent change of pace from the jump scares and running that I'd all been doing up until now. And after a lengthy fight of 5 minutes, we win the game and go to claim our prize, also unlocking Laser Race for being the champion that we are. Here we also find a bizarre room with a makeshift bed and an arcade machine of Princess Quest 3. Things we'll need eventually, but more on that later. With some form of defense, we then decide it's time to take down one of the animatronics, and I wanted to start with Chica, as we soon find a box of food that she is known to go apeshit for, so we can use this against her somehow. Now honestly, as I said earlier, this building is huge, and not only that, there are like 8 different levels that are all connected in weird ways, so we did get quite lost a bit. However, we eventually found a rubbish compactor that could be used perfectly against Chica. We turn on and put that Monty mix garbage in the middle of it, and the idiot takes the bait like you would not believe. When Chica goes to fill her boots with the food, as you can imagine, we start the machine and crush her. With one final push and kick to the face, we keep her in there long enough for the machine to carry on doing its thing. Unfortunately, however, Chica grabs onto us as she falls down the chute into the rubbish dump below. Now, however bad that is, with Chica shattered, we can now steal her voice box and unlock our next achievement, Speak No Evil. With us in the lowest depths of the complex now, we need to fight our way up to carry on destroying the animatronics and, more importantly, for our survival, not dying. Now, somehow the multiple crushes didn't actually kill Chica, so she finds us again and the chase continues. We push through as normal, and after a rather tense sequence in another close quarters area, we escape. With Chica's voice box in our hands though, we can now install that into Freddy and get past any of the doors that need Chica's scream to get through. Again, we somehow expertly handle the animatronic and get that voice box working. But with 5 AM right around the corner, we once again hide and now only have to do another hour of surviving. With Chica's voice, the next animatronic we decide to take down is Roxy, as we can now access her raceway game in the complex. Now, the raceway is still being built or renovated or something, so it's not completed in the slightest. However, we don't care. We break our way in and get to where work in restoring one of the drivers for some reason. Now this section, my opinions of the game slightly shifted. Not only did it take me ages to find Roxy's raceway, as the map they give you just is absolutely useless and doesn't tell you a single thing, but the amount of security bots that they litter throughout every section were starting to get on my nerves a little bit, as they were making me jump every other minute or so, and the scares started to feel quite cheap. However, we fought through it and eventually find the robot head that we need to complete the cart. What are you? Oh god, jump scares can just go and do one. But hey, at least we found the head. With this, we now need to go and take it to a security office to repair it, ready for the fight. So we head to the West Arcade. It turns out, however, that the machine we need to use isn't powered, and we need to go and reset the breakers to get it back online. We now have our next boss fight, as when we flip the first switch and go to leave, DJ, Music Man, and some rather beefy boss music then make themselves known. In this small, cramped space, we have to find 2 more hidden switches, whilst also dodging the DJ, Chica, Monty, and so many security officers. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush here, folks. This part absolutely catapulted my thoughts of this game. I was having a fair amount of fun up until this bit. This entire section, though, was torture. I died here so many times due to teleporting animatronics catching me, so many security bots that would just constantly find me and make me hit them rather quickly with their cheap as feck jump scares. And because of dodgy hitboxes, we also accidentally kept hiding in prams that were right next to the switches that we needed, and honestly, this part of the game just made me absolutely miserable. In fact, I had to Google where the last switch was because I just could not find it. Turns out I ran past it easily 50 times, but we persevered and eventually pulled that final switch. We get chased by Music Man one more time, but escape with our lives when we duck back into the security office. The relief of getting over this section was just phenomenal. But with that, now we have the machine online, we can upgrade our security badge and get the damn driver head fixed. When we leave the West Arcade forever, we also unlock our next achievement, wub wub wub. Okay. And yeah, goddamn, that section absolutely tainted this game for me. However, we don't have too long to go before 6 AM, so with this new shiny robot head, let's go and crush Roxy. We get back to the raceway and immediately fix the head. When we do, the cart takes off. However, unfortunately, it is just a cutscene. We don't even get to be the one to do it, unfortunately. However, we do indeed take Roxy down when we send the cart spiraling straight into her face. Time to steal some eyes, me think. We find Roxy again, and since the cart is crushing her, we then steal those pearly whites and unlock the next achievement as well, See No Evil. Time to upgrade Freddy once again. Now, just like Chica, shattering Roxy doesn't actually kill her, and soon after she once again is chasing after us, albeit blind. Now, she can in fact not see us, but she can hear us pretty well, so it still feels the exact same, to be honest. However, we once again just simply outclass her, escape, and give Freddy a lovely new set of peepers. When we install them as well, we also get some good news, and no, I'm not talking about the fact that Freddy calls us a superstar and it makes me feel all lovely and nice and warm inside. It's finally 6 o'clock, so we need to sprint to the main doors and, well, escape. We did it. We sprint to the gate and unlock Superstar for doing so. We then beg Freddy to come with us. However, he is designed to shut down if he ever leaves the complex, so this escape is one that we will be doing solo. Now, for security breach for an achievement, we need to get the good ending, which has us first complete the Princess Quest 1 and 2 arcade games. I mentioned finding the third earlier, and we haven't done any of them, so we couldn't finish the game. However, my thought process was quite biblical here. I had mega brain. If we end the game now, we can just get the achievement for not hiding and then reload the save to hide as much as we damn well please for the rest of the playthrough. So we leave and thankfully unlock the achievement Hide and Seek Master for not hiding once. And honestly, this wasn't anywhere near as difficult as I was expecting. In fact, I didn't really have the urge to hide once, so it's really not tricky to go out of your way to get this one. And also, since this isn't the good ending, sod it, I'm not even going to tell you what happens. So we reload and get back to it. Time to more or less clean up the entire game and get everything ready for the win. And it is weird considering that we've technically beaten the game and not even got half of the achievements yet, but trust me, they're coming. Our first port of call is to get another weapon, the Fazcam. It works like the phaser blaster but can blind multiple animatronics at once, and we also need it for an achievement. So to Monty's Golf we go, and here we find our next minigame, Golf with your friends. Well, essentially that anyway. We just have to beat the rounds of golf and get the highest score, or well, technically the lowest score possible. Now honestly, this was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and I loaded up the final level with only 2 shots spare before I'd have to do it all over again. Hole in one. Do we get the achievement? Folks, I keep telling you, but like Freddy and the rest, I am just assembled in a fashion that most would class not as the norm. But with that, we also unlock our next achievement under par. Anyway, now to head to the security office to upgrade our badge once again and to get our hands on that fancy camera that I told you about. We get over the lockdown once more and get straight to work for the next achievement, to blind 4 bots with 1 flash of the camera. Something that honestly was a little tricky. Knowing what spot to do it in and what time, it wasn't exactly simple. So I decided to test it out to sense the range and whatnot, but accidentally ended up unlocking it anyway. I have absolutely no idea how, as there were only 3 bots on the screen, but we managed to unlock Say Cheese. Now, something that I haven't mentioned yet is that once you beat the game and go to clean up, for some bizarre, stupid reason, the game removes every safe spot except for the one. For the entire complex and all of the rooms and whatnot, there is now only a single save spot, and my god, I have absolutely no idea why the devs decided to do this. And apparently on launch, there wasn't any safe spots at all. They actually had to add this in. They are actively punishing the people that want to go for the 100%, and honestly, it made me clueless. But with another hindrance as well, we continued. We then find the theatre whilst exploring and collectible hunting, and on the stage is a terrible comedy bot. He gives some truly questionable puns, and we unlock our next achievement. When I riddled him up with lasers, we unlocked Heckler. Whilst continuing the collectible hunt and search, we then found a cupcake shop as well. And I wasn't expecting this at all, but when we go inside on the hunt for useless shit, we also unlock the next achievement, No Room for Dessert. We were making some decent progress for the collectibles, and in fact once again got our next achievement whilst on the hunt. Now earlier at the start of the video I mentioned that we knocked over some paint cans to cause a distraction. Well, you can actually also use piles of plates to distract as well. The next achievement simply has us break 10 plate piles. Not the hardest to do, but you do have to keep your eyes open for the plate stacks, and when we destroyed our 10th and sent them straight to the floor, we also unlocked Oppa. Anyway, enough messing around now. We have one more animatronic to take out, Monty. We need his claws for more collectibles, and since he's my most hated animatronic in the game, I've been putting off his death for far too long. We eventually find ourselves hopping out of a vent and straight into the next game. Monty arrives to make the odds more in his favour, but this task has us use guns to fill up a bucket. We just need to fill the bucket up whilst also avoiding a rather crocodile-y death. Now, honestly, this was actually quite fun, and I think it helped that my shots were ridiculously nice as well, even if I do say so myself. In fact, it hardly took any time at all to fill the bucket and to press that button to dump it. When we do, it drops straight onto Monty, and he gets rather satisfyingly clobbered on the way down. With Monty down for the count, we go and steal those fingers and get our next 2 achievements, Claw No Evil for, of course, stealing the fingers, and Shatter Dreams for breaking every animatronic in the game. Definitely progress, folks, so let's continue. Oh, and as you'd no doubt expect, Monty isn't dead, but he is legless now, which is decent. The next achievement we decided to tackle was for fully upgrading our security badge to the highest level. Now, we only had one more level to go, but could not find the security booth that we'd needed. And since the map did absolutely nothing to help in trying to find the one that I'd missed, we just had to search until we found it. It took, honestly, about an hour, but we did indeed get the final upgrade and unlocked our next achievement, Security Breached. Here we also have another minigame to go through. We need to make Chica a pizza to draw her away from the doors. A rather odd task, you may think. However, apparently this robot bird really enjoys her pizza. So we control a bot as we craft one together, making sure to add important ingredients such as sauce, cheese, meat, and even a healthy helping of not meat stuff. That's what they call it. Nice. But it works perfectly, and this is the very thing to get Chica away. She absolutely goes feral on the bot that made the pizza, and you guessed it, we unlocked the next achievement, Pizza Party. After that, the next mission was to go back to Roxy's Raceway and find the source of the problems there. Sounds rather intense. However, this achievement has us simply find an exit in the basement of the raceway. I was told by my chat that this was a different ending, however, we don't need it, so as soon as we got the achievement hazard pay for finding the problem, we just turned around and ignored it. Honestly, I still don't even know what the problem was, but I don't care because we've got the achievement. Now, the next achievement was rather intense. We just had to find an arcade machine, but to find it for some reason, we had to find 4 cardboard cutouts of the entire Freddy cast in pirate costumes, and then when all of their eyes are glowing, find the movie poster and use that as a hidden door to where this game is found. Rather intense. But we also unlocked the next achievement on the way to doing this rather exhausting task. As in 4 of the collectible boxes are fizzy drinks with your favourite animatronics on the front. We just needed to find and drink all 4 so that when we got to the final hit of delicious beverage, we unlock Sugar High as well. But sod it, back to the game. Now this is Balloon World. It's essentially Flappy Bird in a way. We just have to avoid incoming attacks until we see a purple glitch. We then need to to interact with said glitch, and the achievement is ours. Now honestly, it did take a little longer than I was expecting, as the game wasn't hard per se, however the glitches that we needed to get were in objects that we were meant to avoid. So we had to take a hit early on to be able to clip through and reach it, and it was a little bit more complicated than we was expecting. However, we still hit it all of the same and got sent to the Shadow Realm or some shit. But with that, we also unlocked Up, and Away. I then also realised that there was a really easy achievement as well for leaving the game in a certain way. We just chose the Vanny ending and unlocked the achievement I Am Not Me. Basically, Freddy gets absolutely ripped to shreds here, so rip Freddy. However, once again, we reloaded the save and got back to work. The only thing left, folks, now is the collectibles, the 2 Princess Quest arcade games, and then we're done. Now, the collectibles were an absolutely sodding, ruddy, bloody bastard nightmare what they were. This part broke me. As I said before, the map may as well not exist in this game, so trying to find how to get to certain areas was honestly infuriating. The map is just too big in my opinion, but we can't give up now. So one by one we started to find the last collectibles that we needed. First was the notes that you find in the rather large duffel bags. With the last one collected, we unlocked Lost and Found. Now it's time for the other kind of collectibles, the action figures and such like that you can find in these boxes. Again, got lost a million times, but Freddy being able to pick these with his new eyes certainly helped. And once again, after a little while, we also unlocked Very Important Person. Oh, the grind is almost done now, folks. The next step was to beat Princess Quest 1 and 2, and honestly, it was easily done and quite fun. They once again were a nice change of pace, and they were fun for the 10 minutes that they lasted. They just have you go through like this 8-bit versions of old games with lore and stuff that I'm sure you folks will understand. Me, not a sodding clue. Absolutely not a clue. However, we pushed through regardless, and upon beating the second game, we also unlocked a double-edged sword. It's time to escape, folks, to get the good ending and to get this game done and finished with. So we ran to the exit and chose the Vanny ending, and when we spawn in again with Vanny chasing us, we sprint to the room we found earlier, and you guessed it, we boot up Princess Quest 3. Now actually, I think this game was easier than 2, so when we reached a purple door thing and opened it, we hear a scream and the game ends. Now from that, we thankfully have unlocked the good ending, and the last 2 achievements for getting the good ending and every other achievement in the game, we unlocked Are You Having Fun Yet? And Trophy Time. The good ending sees us leave with Vanessa after defeating Vanny, reuniting with our mum, and even stealing a certain superstar's head. Wonderful. Now honestly, as I said before, I have absolutely no context on any of this. I don't know the game at all or any of the characters, so I couldn't help but feeling a little bit confused at the ending. I do wish that they would have explained a little bit more just for newer players like myself. But I'll be honest with you folks, I didn't even bother googling what happened because I'm not paid to Google endings, I'm paid to collect achievements, and with every achievement in the game got, that means for now, the grind is over. Now, firstly, I am, of course, joking. I did Google everything on who Vanny was and what the ending meant, and realised pretty quickly that I still understood none of it. Apparently, Vanny used to be a normal person and was actually the protagonist of Hell Wanted, the Five Nights at Freddies game that came before this, and in Princess Quest, we were playing as Vanny before a virus or a glitch or something corrupted her. As I said, Five Nights at Freddy's lore is confusing as hell to me, and there are so many theories about every little thing that happens, I just didn't even want to begin to understand that iceberg. So for now, we'll just leave it. So how was my first true Five Nights at Freddy's experience? Honestly, awful. It may not have been the best place to start, but as one of the only Five Nights at Freddy's games with achievements, I wanted to give the most recent game a go. But yeah, I hated this game. Now, at first, honestly, I was really enjoying it. The pace was nice, the premise was interesting, and I was enjoying the setting and the gameplay. However, about 8 hours in, everything just turned into an absolutely terribly glitchy mess. The optimization on this game is so hilariously awful that every time I went through a lift or a loading section, my game would just lag for a minute straight. The constant cheap jump scares of the security bots also got on my nerves, the fact that the animatronics teleported all of the time and were so temperamental, the map was useless in a game that needed it the most, the map was too big itself and overly confusing, and on top of all of that, the devs made bizarre choices like the one save limit at the end that does nothing but annoy the player. I had high hopes for this game, I really did, but unfortunately it was a terrible experience by the end. Now, as I said, I don't know the Freddy fandom well, so apologies if that's a bad take or something I'm sure I'll be educated on why I'm wrong and the game deserves to be the game of the year in the comments. But this is probably one of the worst games that I've played in a hell of a long time. Now, don't get me wrong, it had things that I enjoyed too. I loved uninstalling it. Anyway, with that, let's move on to the stats. For Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, it took us 19 hours to grind all 29 achievements that this game has to offer. For my rating, I'm going to be giving it a 3, and honestly, I'm being generous there. I think I've summed up my thoughts on this game previously and above, but, you know, it is what it is. For difficulty of the achievements, however, I'm also going to be giving this a 3 out of 10. There's nothing too inherently difficult to do, but finding the collectibles sucked so badly, and I imagine that's where a lot of people will get bored and frustrated at, which is also why I'm going to say that the hardest achievement for me personally was Lost and Found, as you can't even see the auras of the bags with Roxy's eyes, and it makes it much harder to grind. But that's Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Now, I've heard that the Ruin DLC for this really helped make up the base game's shortcomings. However, since it doesn't have achievements, we won't be covering it. And I know that some of you might be a little offended by me saying that this game is shite, as I know that the fan base for the Freddy games are incredibly loyal. But that is just genuinely how I found it, folks. Again, I know I have no knowledge or lore or experience with anything in this universe, but I don't think that matters here, because all of my problems with this game are on the mechanics and the gameplay itself. So yeah, it is what it is, and I really wish I could have enjoyed this game more, but I honestly didn't. However, if you enjoyed the video though, please don't forget to like and subscribe for next week's achievement grind. Now, do you agree with my take, or do you think I'm a little bit brain dead? Please let me know down in the comments below, and whilst you're at it, don't forget to swing by my Twitch as well, where we go for the achievement grinds live. It would be lovely to have you there, and of course I need to take a special moment to thank my incredible Patreon followers. You are all amazing, and also special thanks to a Jaffa Boyo, Ash, Baron Deadhail, Tyro Flak Ripper, Cash, Cobble, Danny Doug, Desty, the Wolverine Cole 23, Henry, Inductive Gaming, Loki Mischief, Luna Gitgood, Lider, Mau Seeks, Marental, Nuki, Pick Prince, Sean the Sheaf, and Will Sniffs. You lot are the absolute dog's bollocks, so thank you. But with that, folks, thank you all so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again in the future. But that's it from me today, so take care. Bye-bye for now.